It's always the
You're alive.
all right, all right. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to our District 40 podcast. How are you guys doing today?
I am doing great. It was a great Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
Still stuff.
Yeah, right.
I was doing good till I came on and saw that Michigan sweatshirt there.
Ah!
Come on now.
Yeah, I see you guys got your OSU and you're
Right.
actually not having your head down. So
I mean, I
Why
don't
would
have much
we?
else in my wardrobe to wear, to be honest. So
I mean, come on now. We still hold the best record against you, so
Oh,
one game
in the
ain't gonna
last
kill.
20 years, for sure.
you
Yes.
know that's spoken like a person that didn't win the game, right?
Wait, there's always next year.
Always next year. That's right.
Uh.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Man, she's been working.
I've been practicing that all week on my coworkers. So there you
So,
go.
Doris, you want to get us kicked off here with the mission?
Yeah, let me read our mission statement here. Our mission statement is to educate and entertain our listeners and viewers by providing a positive and supportive experience to help our listeners and viewers develop stronger communication and leadership skills. And just like in a regular Toastmasters meeting, we have a word of the day. So every time that word of the day, you'll get the jazz hands every time that word of the day is spoken. And our word for today is appreciation. I thought this was a good word since we are just now coming off of the Thanksgiving holiday. Also, we know November is kind of grateful month now, has become grateful month. And I thought appreciation is a good word for November. So the definition of appreciation is recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. And to use in a sentence, I appreciate being asked to co-host this podcast tonight. As you can tell, I am not out there. I'm sitting in for her, who's probably enjoying on the beach somewhere. So, hey, Bertina, if you're hey out there, if you're watching.
Doris, we appreciate you being here with us today.
That's what we do. And an old veteran.
A veteran, yeah.
He's an original podcaster, people. She is from the original four.
The original four, yeah.
Fabulous four.
OP.
So we appreciate
Trailblazer.
you.
Right. OP. Well, let's not prolong the show any longer. Let me turn it over to you, Bertina, who can get our interview portion started.
All right. Today we have two fabulous women here to share their experience with us. We have Dr. Shirley Stallworth. Her current role today is District 40 Conference Chairperson. Dr. Starworth attended her first Toastmaster meeting in October of 2016 and without reservation noted enjoying Toastmasters was one of her best decisions in life. Since joining Toastmasters, she's served in many leadership roles, of which her most current role is that of the District 40 2024 Annual Conference Chairperson. Additionally, Dr. Stallworth served as the district leadership team, Division A Director 2021-22, I'm sorry, I should say 21-22, which I was up under her leadership. She is also a member of the DETC team member. She's been a president, vice president of membership. She's been treasurer and sergeant of arms. Dr. Stallworth has a genuine love for Toastmasters and a personal communication and leadership tools that she has learned in her journey. Dr. Shirley has both academic and corporate experience. So we really appreciate you there. She, for the 20 years, she served as college professor at St. Clair Community College in the field of information technology. Additionally, as a corporate trainer, she traveled across the US teaching and operating systems called Unix. For 8 years as an associate forms of application software. I you just I when I was reading this, I said she is just dynamite. She has so many jewels in her little crown that I had no idea about. Uh, Dr. Stallworth passions is reading, research, movies, travel, Facebook, and cooking. And if you had heard, she was talking about some cooking earlier. She considers herself a lifelong learner. She even has published work called The Experience of the Single Low Income American Mother in Her Maternal Protective Role. Wow, that is just so powerful. I've learned so many things, and we have a nice little report, but I had no idea the depth of the woman that I have before me. And it's such an honor and a pleasure. And I appreciate being chosen to do the interview. So I'm going to start with my first question for you, Dr. Shirley. What is your favorite leadership or communication quote and why?
My favorite leadership communication quote is one that I would say that I created myself, and that is, when I go up, those people that I'm leading go up with me. Because I really believe in the power of encouragement, the power of saying, yes, you can do that. And you're one of the people that I could say that I've said that too many times.
Yes,
so
you
I'm
have.
proud of that.
Yes, you have. You have
That's my
certainly,
favorite leadership quote.
you have pushed me to be the best me. Let's talk about your why. Why have you remained a member of Toastmaster?
I remain in Toastmasters because I love the empowerment that Toastmasters has given me as an individual. My story began because I had a very terrible thing happen to me in 2013. I've been a public speaker for many years. And when that happened, I lost my voice. I didn't want to speak. There is even a video of me where I knew that I needed help. So the first part of the help was I went to a life coach. And I followed that up by I realized that I learned that there was a lady at our church that was also having a coaching session. So I joined that session because I believe in the power of God and what the faith in God can do for you. So within that time, I learned about an organization called Toastmasters because I created a vision board. And for everything on that board, you have to have a corresponding action. So my goal was to become a better speaker to gain my voice back. So I looked up Toastmasters, and that's why in my bio, I said that I attended my first Toastmaster class in October of 2016. And then I began to build. I began to get my power back in my voice. I began to feel like I had something to say, and I was willing to say it. And that's why I love Toastmasters so much, because I'm still growing. I said also that I'm a lifelong learner. And I am a lifelong learner, as well as all of you in this room. How else can you live and not be a lifelong learner? And I love Toastmasters because of that.
Nice.
Wow, that was great. That wonderful answer. Wonderful why. Wonderful why. Before we move into the next segment of each one of our hosts asking a question, I want to move on to Dr. Crystal Walker. And let me tell you a little bit about her, and then I'll turn it over to my cohorts for their questions. Dr. Crystal Walker, her current role is District 40 Conference Vice Chair. Reverend Dr. Crystal Walker is a resident chaplain of the Ascension St. Vincent Hospital and executive director of the Vine. Help me with this word because I practiced it earlier.
Ecumenical.
Thank you. I kept pressing that button. So thank you for that. Ministries. She is also an ordained minister with the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. She has a Master's of Divinity degree from Payne Theological Seminary and a Doctorate of Ministry degree from United Theological Seminary. Dr. Crystal Walker has the following professional certifications: CMP Fellow, CHSP, CFMP, from her many years in the hospitality community. She is accredited member of Toastmasters Springfield chapter. Dr. Crystal is on the board. She is the board chair and co-chair. I think I said that wrong. Dr.
Co-chair.
Crystal is the board co-chair for the Ohioans to Stop Execution and the board member of the Journey of Hope. From Violence to Healing, where she has given presentations for both groups. Dr. Crystal is married to the Reverend Shelby Walker, co-pastor, BTC Ministries, and is the mother of 5 children: Edward Powers, deceased, and Frank and Maya Powers. They live in Daytona Beach, Florida. Jonathan and Angelica Walker. They live in Brownsburg, Indiana. Jamie and Elliot Banks, Indianapolis, Indiana, and the proud grandmother of 11 grandchildren. I could so relate to those grandchildren because we have like a bunch of them. I have 2 at my house right now. My question for you: what advice would you give someone who is nervous about public speaking or taking on a leadership role in the district for the very first time?
Great question. Thank you, Bertina. I would give the advice to just do it. You asked Dr. Shirley one of her favorite quotes, and that's one of my favorite quotes: just do it. I am a huge introvert, believe it or not. People don't see that about me. They don't believe it. I am a huge introvert, and it takes me a lot to recharge after I've spoken or after I've done public appearances, anything like that. So when I joined Toastmasters, and I joined under Dr. Shirley Stallworth, she encouraged me, invited me. When I joined it, I was speaking totally from script when I preached because, one, I didn't want to mix up my words, and I didn't want to say something so out of whack. So I scripted everything. And Toastmasters gave me the ability to actually just write an outline and to kind of speak from the heart, which makes it more believable to everyone. So I would just say to people as advice, go for it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Good
I love that
advice.
slogan. Just
Good
get out
advice.
there. Lastly, what aspect of the upcoming District 40 conference are you most jazzed about? And why should we be excited about it as a district?
Well, I am most jazzed because we have not one, but 2 accredited speakers, Toastmasters accredited speakers, not one, but 2, Connor Coonan and Darren LaCroix. It's going to be an amazing conference. I think that both of these gentlemen will give us an exemplary speech and just motivate us to become just like them.
Excellent. I do appreciate you and Dr. Shirley coming and being under the leadership of both of you during this conference. So I am constantly learning. And now, what I'd like to do, let's go to Mr. Michael Pope. Do you have a question for our esteemed guest?
I do. First, thank you, ladies, for honoring us with your presence today. And so Dr. Shirley, I got a couple questions for you. So looking at being a part of the conference team, you put together an amazing team. So for the other leaders out there, or the other aspiring leaders, what was your process for developing such a team that you have for the conference?
Well, I had a 3-part strategy for recruiting. The first part of the strategy was I needed to find out what went on in the 2023 conference. And also, I needed to know what motivated those individuals to participate. I chose my team by individuals that I had worked with, and some of them heard my speech about my strategy for the 2024, my recruiting strategy for the 2024 annual conference. And I would, go over to someone and say, hey, listen, did you know? I had an elevator pitch. Hey, listen, did you know that? Have you heard that I am the 2024 annual conference? And you know what? We worked together before, and I know that you'd be good in this position. Well, will you want to come and join us? Well, they would.
I got one of those calls.
Yeah.
I still had one of those too, and so did Bertina. And so after a while, by the time I got to the 2023 conference, I had 70% of my subcommittee chairs selected, but it's people that I had worked with before. And I was confident that we could work together again and have an awesome 2024 D40 conference. So that is basically how I got those team members that I got. And while we're also energized because we have a learning and growing environment every month, my expectation is that I want to see that they are progressing in their specific subcommittee responsibilities and how they're learning and how it's impacting them. So I'm very happy about the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you. Wonderful answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm thankful to have gotten one of those calls like many of us has. So that's a great tip for all of you aspiring leaders out there, right? Be willing to ask. That's important.
Right.
So then Dr. Crystal, let me ask you a quick question. So you said you're an introvert. I'm an introvert as well. So what process have you gone through to encourage other introverts to use their voice in Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters?
Thank you for the question. The process that I go through to get introverts to use their voice is to, one, let them know that they have a voice. It doesn't matter that you feel uncomfortable in social situations. What matters is that your voice, your opinions are valued. And if you don't use your voice, if you continue to just go back into your shell, you will never be able to use your voice and your leadership to make your opinions matter. So I have huge leadership qualities that I try to embark on everyone else, because I don't want to be out there on a boat by myself. And I want to make sure that everyone's using their leadership qualities and everyone's using their voice. And in order to use your voice, you have to speak out.
Yes. Thank you.
Good,
Thank you.
Good
Thank
answer.
You. Scott, come on and ask your questions, please.
Thank you, Bertina, and thank you, Doctor. And Doctor, I feel like I'm at an education conference tonight or something. I don't know what's going on here. I feel smarter just being in your presence. Dr. Shirley, this question is for you. Dr. Walker already answered it, but as the chair of the D40 Conference Committee, what are you most jazzed about for the conference? And then why should D40 members be excited to attend the conference this year?
What I'm so jazzed about the conference is that the team that we have, they're some of the most brilliant minds inside of Toastmasters. These people are dedicated to serve. They want to serve others. They want this to be a great conference. We meet once a month, the fourth Monday of every month. And each month, I'm just amazed at the articulation that they come to the meetings with, what they are doing. I'm so surprised, like we've had 3 site visits to the Holiday Inn in Fairborn, Ohio, and you've seen some of those site visits out there on the D40 Facebook page. But the energy that they come with every month, you don't have anyone in there like not excited to be that are part of this team. And we have a couple of motivating factors. One motivating factor is the theme for District 40 is be active, be engaged, and achieve together. That sparks us every time we come together. But also, this is a historical time for us. Not only are we 70 plus years in District 40, but this is the 100th anniversary of Toastmasters 2024. So the whole thing is historical to us, that to be part of this is historical moment inside of Toastmasters. And the fact that I was chosen to lead this group is huge for me. And it's huge for me because I've progressively seen my growth over the years in Toastmasters. And I can say without reservation, if it had not been for Toastmasters, I wouldn't be in this room today doing a podcast.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes.
Great stuff.
That's he's good stuff. Good stuff.
I have one more question, and I'd like to hear both of your answers quickly, if you would. As a huge proponent of the leadership aspect of Toastmasters myself, what has been your most rewarding leadership position that you've served in, and what was your biggest takeaway from that position?
Well, my greatest leadership position, and where I had the most growth, was when I was president, my first presidential assignment as a Toastmaster. I had to reach into myself. I had to become a better leader. I had to listen more. I had to understand that people come into an environment with stories. And until you know what that story is, and then one of the things that I learned as a leader is that leadership is a contact sport. You have to work with people. You can't get away from that. And you're working with everything that those people are working with. You can't be authoritarian. You got to listen to them. You got to see like, hey, listen, and I use Bertina because she is my poster person, because I said, Bertina, you're good in this. You can, well, that's not my forte. Yes, it is this week. This is your forte, and you're going to exceed in this, and you're going to, now I have to get her to be quiet because she's leading this and leading that and everything, all because she listened to what I believed in her. And who was that said, just do it, Dr. Crystal. Just do it, Bertina. In fact, that's the last thing I said to you with the last position I gave you. I said, Bertina, I don't know whether I can say this on the podcast, but I used to be a Mary Kay consultant. They said, don't tell me about your labor pains, just show me the baby. That's basically was my philosophy with Bertina, because she would growl at you and then she would do it and be exceptional at it. Not just do it, but exceptional at it. So I had to get to that point, and that first presidential role that I did helped me get to that point, because I wanted to be successful. And the only way for I to be successful was to use some of the management tools that Michael talks about. And that is to be a good listener. And as our district director says, be active, be engaged, and work together. I hope I answered your question, Scott.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Okay, am I supposed to answer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My most challenging leadership role is the role that I am doing right now as the co-chair with Dr. Shirley. Dr. Shirley, if you know her, has an exceptional salesmanship about her. She can sell the Brooklyn Bridge. So she said, Dr. Crystal, in that sweet little voice that she has, would you mind helping me out? It's not going to be too much. Not at all. So she sold me on the Brooklyn Bridge. And ever since, I have been running around and making sure that I have used the last 20 plus years of hospitality experience that I've had in this role to try to make her proud, because she's not going to fail, because she has a great team. And I hope to be part of that team where we are going to each shine.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Excellent. All right, Doris, I'm going to wrap it up with you.
All right. I just have the one question for both of you. And I think, Dr. Crystal, you started answering it. And it is, what has been one of the biggest challenges so far in planning the conference, and how have you handled that? What has been one of the biggest challenges so far, and how have you handled that? Or it doesn't have to be in planning the conference. This way, it has been a challenge for you, and how have you handled it?
For me, I can say it's the time commitment. I started as a resident chaplain, and if you know anything about residency, it's quite the time commitment in and of itself. So I started that job right in the middle of the planning for this.
Okay.
So it's the time commitment, and I handle it by just putting one foot in front of the other. I've got to do this on this day. I've got to be ready for this on this day. I've got to do this on that day. It's just really prioritizing and working through what I need to do and getting it done.
Good answer. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Wait, that was the word.
Word of the day.
Doris, I would have to say that my greatest challenge was hotel contractual agreements, creating one of those and getting approved at the various levels, and creating a budget, which if it had not been for Dr. Crystal, I mean, we put the budget together in the Frisch's on North Main Street in Dayton, Ohio. We sat there one day from about 6:30 to about 8:30, but we got it done.
Good
So
job.
just those things that I was weak in when I began the journey. And now I'm just so thankful that I'm very familiar with hotel contractual arrangements, registration, determining what the costs are going to be for certain factors. We've had a couple of taste journey. We had a taste journey as well. So just those things that I didn't have any experience with. And I, when you choose people to work with you, you want to leverage off their skills too. And Dr. Crystal, here she is. She has the facilities management. She has hotel management. She has budgetary management. And I'm glad that she said yes when I asked her if she would be my co-chair, because she has so many skills that have helped me to grow as well.
Good job. Great answers.
The one thing, just to finally wrap up, I want to thank you both for coming tonight and being a part of our podcast, sharing your journey with us, sharing yourself with us. But the one thing that I heard that I don't know if you really realized that you said, you became comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that, to me, is the dynamite thing that we learn with Toastmasters and are able to broaden our base. And so with that, I am going to turn it back over to Dolores, our chair.
Thank you, Bertina. Great segment. Thank you, ladies, for being on. I learned so much about you. Thank you so much. And now our segment is What We Learned. In this segment, we talk about what we learned either this week or this month or even this year, what we've learned that we can communicate to others and have them learn something maybe from us. So, Bertina, let's start with you. What have you learned that you can share?
Having Dr. Crystal here and Dr. Shirley, and you mentioned about dealing with the hotels. This past weekend, I am a member of another fellowship that I did a conference, and I was the vice chair of this conference. And since I was the vice chair, I had to do the merchandising. But there was the fine print that was in the contract that kind of got overlooked. And my thing was always read the fine print, because there is nuggets that are very important in that fine print, and they make it fine print so that you might just look over it, which is what we did. And so it reminded me to take the time to read, take the time to ask the questions that need to be asked, so that you always have a full understanding of what you are to partake in. Because if we had read that fine print, we would have reaped a bigger reward on the amount of people that we had come in. Because, when you're doing a conference, people tend to wait to the last minute to say, I want to go. Right. So they're going to come, they're going to get a hotel room. Well, the way the contract was written, it we only got people who actually made the reservations, not who came in later. They were the before reservations. So that was in the fine print that we overlooked. And so that's why I chose always read the fine print, take the little extra time because you never know what you might be losing. And then who knows, you could be really gaining something also. And
Right.
so that is what I am saying.
That is great advice. They make it fine on purpose. So
Yes.
they know most people aren't going to take the time to read it, but so they can drop
Yeah.
those things in there that you're going to miss. Michael, what have you learned? What can you share with us?
Yeah, so one thing I'll talk about is being opportunity focused. I truly believe that, I know for me, being opportunity focused has opened up so many doors for me.
Mhm.
And I truly believe that being a successful Toastmaster, you have to be opportunity focused. So one area of opportunity focus is embracing every speaking opportunity. Whether it's a small gathering, something large, taking advantage of those opportunities. And so one opportunity that we have for speakers, for our Toastmasters out there, is at our District 40 conference, we're looking for session presenters. So this is your opportunity to present for 45 minutes in person at our district conference. Even if you're a little nervous, hey, go for it. It is a great opportunity that can really open up doors. I know for me, my first 45-minute speaking segment was at a Toastmasters TLI many years ago. And then, of course, I went and did conference as well. And that's opened up so many doors for me to where I can go from being a free speaker only to a paid speaker, is because I embraced those opportunities. I was opportunity focused. So back to you,
Yeah,
Doris.
great. That's great. A great thing to learn. So
like
yeah,
Michael.
sign up, you guys. Sign up. Scott, what have you learned? What can you share with us?
Well, for those of you that are new to Toastmasters and might not know this, we've got something. Not only is the holiday season coming up, but once we pass and start the new year, it's contest season.
Contest season.
So what I learned over the years in being involved in Toastmasters is contests equal confidence. And I've learned that just by not only myself being involved in contests and speaking and winning a club contest and making it to the next level, but I've also witnessed in the last few years other members in my club do the same thing. I have a member in my club named Kathy Smith, and she is a self-proclaimed not funny person. But last year we had the humorous speech contest, and I challenged Kathy. Kathy, come on, try it out. Try to add some humor to your speech and see what happens. Well, she did that. She first of all raised her hand and stepped up and was a contestant in our club humorous speech contest, and then won the contest. And she was like, well,
Nice.
maybe I am humorous.
Yeah.
Maybe I do have a funny bone.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? So she went on to the area level and won the area contest too. So even
Wow.
more confidence is building in her now. She didn't just do it in front of her bozos back in her home club. She went to the area with 5 other clubs and won the contest there and was funny and got laughs. So also another member of ours named Bintu Dumbuya, she participated in the evaluation contest a couple years ago. And it just so happens that this year, the evaluation contest is one of our contests that we'll be having, along with the international speech contest. But Bintu was always scared to death of evaluations. What could I possibly offer as an evaluator to people that have been doing this that are way more confident than me?
Right.
And it turns out she had quite the skill level once she put it into practice. She won our club contest, went on to the area contest and placed there, and just gained so much confidence that she became one of the best evaluators in our club for years after that, and really enjoyed the process after that. So it's funny that the ladies, the doctors mentioned "just do it" as one of their favorite quotes, because in this session, I want to encourage all of you out there that if you're on the fence about getting involved in a contest, just
do
it.
it.
As Nike says for years and years and years, just put yourself out there, have fun with it, see what happens. If you can qualify and you have the requirements to be in the international contest, do that. But if not, the evaluation contest is a great way to tip your toe in the pool and to just get your feet wet and have fun with it. A 5 to 7 minute target speaker, and all you have to do is put together a 2 to 3 minute evaluation. It's fun, it's educational, and I guarantee you that you will gain confidence by doing it. So that's my challenge to all of you out there in D40 land. Contest season is coming up. Get involved. Be a contestant for the evaluation contest or the international contest, and just have fun with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it does increase your confidence, although I'm still working my way up to being in a
I think you'll appreciate the growth for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'll just share what I learned. What I learned is to share your story, good or bad. And it hit me again, this share your story, when Dr. Shirley was talking about she had an incident and lost her voice. And just her telling that story really encouraged me just at that point. So you just never know who you're going to encourage or touch or help when you share your story, when you tell your story, and Toastmasters can help us do that. So just share your story, whether it's a good story or a bad story, or you might think, I don't have much to say, like, or I don't, who am I to say something about these experienced speakers? You just never know. So just put yourself out there, I think, just like everyone else is saying, and share your story. And because we're coming off of the Thanksgiving holiday, we've met with family, we now have other stories I'm pretty sure that we can put in our back pockets to share. So that is what I learned. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Michael, for our next segment.
All right. So our next segment is called News You Can Use. And so this is where we share with you all some beneficial news and information that you can go back and apply and take advantage of. So to kick us off, Bertina, you want to give us some news that we can use?
I definitely can. Thank you, Michael. The news that the people can use, and I just realized that I have some of it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, and I'm going to tell you where to find the rest of it. And that is on January 13th, we're going to have our second town hall meeting.
Yes.
We're going to have lots of guests. And yours truly that you see here on the screen with Althea, she's missing, but she's going to be there. We again are going to be the Monterey's.
Nice.
So we invite you to come out, learn about the district more, get to know the people more. All of the information can be found on the D40 website.
Yes, that's d40.toastmastersclubs.org.
It is going to be in Mason, Ohio, which is in the Cincinnati area between Dayton and Cincinnati. And I just downloaded it. I had it and I put it down. I think I left it at home. So I apologize, but you can definitely find all the information there. So that is my news that the people can use. And I apologize for being unprepared.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so that will be on January 13th, 11:30 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, you can find more details on the website like Bertina mentioned. Thank you. Scott, let's go to you next. Give us some news that the people can use.
Thank you, Michael. I want to share that the winter TLI season is here. And we've had one so far, and it was a successful hybrid event. We've got a online event, virtual through Zoom. We've got another virtual TLI coming up this Saturday, December 2nd. So for any new officers out there that haven't attended a TLI during the winter season or the winter sessions, get that extra DCP point for your club. And not only that, but the amazing tips and techniques that you can learn from Toastmasters from all over the district, from Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. It's just an amazing melting pot of information and knowledge that you can gain access to by just showing up and being online for a day. If you haven't heard about it, or you have, if you're an officer and you need that training, the Distinguished Communicator that just came out yesterday by our PR director for District 40, there's a link in there, or you can reach out to me, smgarver@columbus.gov. That's SMGAR, V as in Victor, ER, @columbus.gov, and I can send that link to you. Also, I was supposed to be presenting at the TLI this Saturday, and unfortunately I had something come up. It's my wife and I's anniversary, and she proceeded to tell me that, no, Scott, you have other plans on Saturday, so you can't be presenting at the Toastmasters TLI. So I'm looking for a replacement for the Vice President of Membership session. If anybody is free Saturday from 10:40 to 11:30, I'd surely appreciate it. Michael McCoy and the group that's putting together the TLI would appreciate it. But it's always a great session, and I definitely have a great appreciation for the knowledge that I've gained over the years just by attending, especially in person, the TLIs. I love to be there and interact with other folks from the District 40 area. But that's going on this Saturday, December 2nd. So.
All
She
right.
didn't want to spend her anniversary in the TLS.
Yeah, I don't think that's very good.
She said she gets the whole day. Happy anniversary, Scott.
Happy anniversary.
That's just a piece.
You know what they say, happy wife.
That's
That's right.
Happy life.
So Doris, give us some news that the people can use.
Yes, news that the people can use. My news is know your numbers. You know, when you go to the doctor, they say you should know your numbers. It's so important to know your cholesterol and your blood pressure and all of those numbers. That's very important to your health. Well, it's important to know your Toastmaster numbers. And what do I mean by that, Toastmasters numbers? We are midway through the year in Toastmasters. As a matter of fact, the town hall that Bertina mentioned is called The Story So Far, because we are midway through. And there's some numbers that you should know in your Toastmasters for yourself and for your club. And those numbers are: how many speeches do I need to do from between now and the end of the year to meet my goal that I set for myself? So you should know that number. How many speeches or levels do my club need in order for us to meet our DCP goal? So you should know those numbers. Get with your vice president of education and find out how many level 1s do you have, how many level 2s do you have, and do you need, so that we can all finish up the year strong and all become distinguished clubs. So know your numbers, your personal numbers for your goals that you set, and then know those of your club. So that, I think, is some news that the people can use.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Thank you. All right. So then I'll share with you some news that the people can use. So many of you some of you may be aware of this already, but Pathways is changing in 2024. So here's a little bit about what's in store for you. So we're actually transitioning to a new learning management system, or LMS, you may hear referred to. There's going to be some improved accessibility and functionality. They're actually going to have a mobile app for the new Pathways. There's going to be a social media integration and content streaming, where you're going to be able to share your success, your completed paths on social media a lot easier. So that's really cool. Member feedback and data-driven changes. So they've got some cool new features. And so you can find out about it on the Toastmasters website. There's more information coming. So what that means for you right now is, if you are a VP of Ed or someone in that position, make sure that you've got everything submitted you need before things start transitioning over, so you don't lose anything in the shuffle. Right. And that's news people can use.
That's some good
Back to you, Doris.
Can use. Thank you.
Very important news. We are much appreciated for that news.
Yeah. Appreciate you for that information. All right, let's move into our next segment, and it is our speaker evaluation segment. Let me turn it over to Scott. Scott, what do you have for us in the way of a speech?
Well, thank you, Doris. And it just so happens I was talking about evaluations earlier tonight in the evaluation contest, and here I am leading the evaluation section of the meeting. So as you know, evaluation are a huge cornerstone in Toastmasters, and it's what one of my mentors, Liz Reed, always used to say is it's where the real magic happens in a Toastmasters meeting. And so what we like to do in this session is play a video of a speech, and then have our panelists provide an evaluation, a short 1 to 2 minute evaluation. So tonight I have a treat for us as the speech, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get started. Oh, no, shoot. Guess we will. Where are you guys?
I'm curious. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Scott Garber.
Did I hear that out there?
Yes.
Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests about to sign up as a newcomer. How many of you are familiar with breakdancing? We've got some youngsters in the group here. How many of you have ever participated in breakdancing? Ooh, a few of us. Well, let me tell you, tonight is your lucky night. Because we are going to have a good old-fashioned 80s break-off. There's no cardboard up here, but I want you to all stand up and come up here and join me up front. Come on. This is going to be a very buoyant activity. Okay, let's make a circle. Everybody, and stand close enough to where you can touch your neighbor. Not like that, Jenny. Spread out a little bit. Spread out a little bit. Okay, now one of my favorite 80s breakdancing moves is the wave. Yes, Karthik's got it.
It's very famous in India.
Yes, awesome. What we're going to do tonight is called the chain wave. So I want you to spread out and be able to lock fingers with your neighbor. Like this. All right? Go ahead and spread out over there, guys. Church camp. Okay. Now, I am going to start the chain wave. But this is all about expression. Go ahead and feel free to let it flow. All right? Now, when I decide to pass it to you, it's your turn to take it. Take it, Carla. Go ahead, let's hear it for her. Let's encourage her. Carla, feel free to, yes. Okay, that's it. All right, Karthik. India. Our Karthiks were right on top of it. So you're probably asking yourself, you're probably all curious about why did Scott have us do this crazy exercise? And what the hell is breakdancing? break off today at work. It was amazing. Not very often, right? There's 3 reasons why I shared this exercise tonight. The first is that we are all, as speakers, trainers, and presenters, we are all looked to as the experts in our field. When you go to a session, you don't want to see that trainer or that speaker fail, do you? You want to be entertained. You want to be added value for your time and effort that you took to get to that session. You are looked to as an expert when you're up in front of a group, speaking or training or presenting. You are the rock star at that moment. The stage is yours. So take advantage of that opportunity to be that rock star. The second reason why I picked that up by that exercise is that we are all individuals with our own values, our own traits, our own skills. And in that moment, we are also all part of a team. So if you are in this room and you are acting out, you're presenting, you're speaking, and you are a part of this team and a part of the City Year organization, then you should be supported. You should be encouraged by your team members to put yourself out there and to learn those valuable skills to keep moving forward and growing as a speaker. And lastly, one of the great things about the Toastmasters program and the Toastmasters International organization is that they provide an open, friendly, and encouraging environment for you to fail your way to success. And how do we do that? By providing peer evaluations and feedback, by being open and encouraging and positive and supportive of the other members in our club. You, as an organization, can have that same culture in your organization by doing that, by being open and honest and supportive and encouraging of your members and your employees as they're trying to develop those skills and to become better speakers, better presenters, better trainers, and better leaders of your organization. And I'm here today to help your organization learn the skills and the processes of how you can implement that same culture right here in this room with all of your leaders that are here today. So please, be aware. Listen attentively. Be involved. This is going to be a very open and encouraging atmosphere today. So be engaged and be active in what we're going to talk about today. Thank you.
Good job.
Great
I like the way you put yourself out there. Use your own speech there.
Takes courage.
Yeah, that
I had
does. I
forgotten
appreciate
how fun that
it.
was, and that was actually practice for me for my first paid gig ever. Michael, you would appreciate that.
Yes.
I was asked to speak in front of the City Year volunteer group here in Columbus, and that was my intro for that day of training and presentations that I did for that group. So, Doris. You're
Yeah,
up first.
so I loved your enthusiasm, and I loved how you brought all of the team up and got them doing something, because that kind of loosened them up for and had them wondering, like, why are we doing this, and what is the deal with the break dancing? And then you went a whole different way and did the whole get involved and be a team. So I really like that. I think that when you ask people to raise their hand, that is an opportunity to draw them in more. You could call on them like, John, why did you raise your hand? Get them more involved in your speech, and not just have people raise their hand and then just move on to the next thing. So I think use that information that you're gathering in your speech to actually get them more involved. People love it when you call out their name in your speech, because that seems like your speech is more genuine. You're not just practicing something, you actually added something new because you called out their name. I thought you did a great job, very enthusiastic. I loved your gesturing and getting the people involved right up front, and just having them to, you gave them permission to kind of be silly, and that means that their guards are down and they are more accepting of what you're going to get. So I love the speech. Great job. Back to you.
Thanks, Doris. Bertina.
Thanks. I thought it was great. I said, look at him. Some of the things that I jotted down was the participation. I don't know what you were seeing as you were looking at them, but because we couldn't see, I'm thinking they were sitting there staring at you like, what are we about to do? But when you said breakdancing, you got them all up. They started giggling. They were like little kids. And as Doris said, it broke the ice. That's what I saw. It broke the ice. And even the one lady said, that made my day. So to me, that opened them up and made them more receptive to what you were about to teach. Mm-hmm. And I had wrote down, Doris, I wrote down personable too, so that you draw them in even more. Whenever I given a speech, I try to draw that audience and connect them to what I'm speaking about. And so I thought it was great for a first time that you got paid. That's promising. That's giving me hope to get out there and do something, just do it. The movement a little bit, I think it could be more strategic, but you did take full control of the area. And that's what I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Bertina.
All right.
Michael.
All right, Scott. So go ahead.
Last but not
least. All right, Scott, I absolutely loved it. So great job. A lot of this has already been mentioned. So great job immediately involving the audience, right? With the hand raising, you got them involved. You piqued their curiosity talking about breakdancing with the questions. I'm sure they were all wondering, hey, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? And then I love that you had everyone get up and join you. Mm-hmm. That's powerful that you did that, to create that, because you really broke them out of their state. So like was mentioned before, like if they weren't happy to be there or whatever, you immediately broke that pattern. So that was great. But one of the things that you did absolutely wonderfully that I think a lot of people can take note of is the way you gave instructions. You didn't just have them come up. You explained every step of the way so that even people who had never heard of the wave, they had full understanding of what was going to be involved. So you thoroughly explained it, you modeled it for them, and then you all did it. And I love that you had them all appreciating each other, right? Praising each other for what they were doing, because you took that activity and you put that into your talk of, here's how you can praise, how we're involving each other and praising each other. So I think that really worked out really well. There was one point where I actually thought you were going to end with the fall, because I actually felt like that was a powerful way. You could have closed right there when you hit the ground. How, Toastmasters allows you to fail. I think that would have worked perfect, but great job, Scott.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to have to go back to that one. That's for sure. Been a
Yes.
while.
That was good. That was good.
Good
All right, I'll
job.
turn it back over to you, Doris. That
All
answered your
right.
question.
Thank
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. That's our word today. Appreciation. I thank you guys for allowing me to come back on the show and be involved in the podcast. I had a great time today. So let's go around the horn and see if you guys have any parting words for the people. Michael, what do you got to say?
Just do it as was mentioned earlier. And we appreciate you for watching this and sharing this with your community, your club.
Yeah, Bertina.
Again, I want to reiterate, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
when you are in that state, great things happen because you're open and you're willing. And as we said, just do it. And
Just
Dolores,
do it.
Doris, thank you for being a part of. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Scott.
Yes. Appreciate not only just do it and not only fail your way to success, but appreciate the moment, appreciate what is happening in that moment, because it's such an important aspect of why we get together as Toastmasters and why we keep coming back. You know, that's one of the questions we often ask our guest speakers is what makes you keep coming back to Toastmasters? And it's those moments where you really get that feedback and you feel like you're taking something away, and just keep coming back and keep doing it. The more you do it, the more confidence you build, the better you become. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Just do it. That seemed to be the theme of the night. Just do it. And appreciate your teammates for doing it.
Yeah.
All right. With that, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.